Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ari. In today's video, I'm going to do a review of my 2017, sort of my 2017 trans review, and talk about some of the milestones that came through 2017. So hopefully you'll stick around to watch the video. Okay guys, welcome back. So, a slight disclaimer, I have a terrible memory for dates, so I put everything into my phone and then I tend to journal like crazy. This is one of many journals for 2017/2018 because it still has space. So I did a trans review journal entry, just sort of talking about 2017 and everything that had happened. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at this. Sorry, all the mess going on. So we'll kind of go through a little bit of it, a little at a time. So obviously pretty excited to be entering 2018, but 2017 was a big year for me. You know, a lot of things happened, a lot of changes. I had a lot of great experiences, a lot of not so great experiences, but it was really the first year where I was on a steady path to becoming me, whereas 2018 gets to be the year when I get to be me the full year. So I came in to 2017 to the outside world as a gay man. I was growing my hair out, slowly working on that, and trying to get more comfortable in my own skin. I was dealing with the dysphoria that had been building up. I talked a little bit about that in the last video, which was my transgender journey. So watch it if you haven't already. But anyway, you know, I was starting to deal with a lot of dysphoria going on, especially going with my face and facial hair, which I talked a little bit about in the last video. So on May 18th, of last year, I took the real first step in my transition, and I didn't even know that I was. So I went for my laser consultation and my first laser treatment. And that was definitely a big experience for me. As a side note, if you have laser, just an FYI, it hurts like hell. And they'll tell you that it feels like a rubber band snapping you on the face. I feel more like my face is being tattooed every time I go, and I'm still going through laser now after starting on, when did I say? May 18th? Well, we'll go, yeah, May 18th. So that was a pretty big day, and during that session, you know, it kind of hit me. You know, right now, I'm treating the symptom, but I'm not getting to the heart of the issue. And the heart of the issue is that I can't bring myself to accept who I really am. And that really started me on a long process of thinking and evaluating what I wanted to do in those next steps of my life. Like I talked about, you know, I don't want to be that old person who's, you know, in the final moments of life and realizing they've never been themselves. And that started coming true to, you know, coming really home to me and really understanding it as I was looking through and as I was thinking and as I was seeing all of the trans YouTubers and trans personalities and going, you know, why can't I be this? Why can't I move forward with my life the way that they are? And it was just a blockade. Most of them had probably the same experience of trying to be true to who they were and seeing others, maybe, if there was visibility. I've been blessed that I've grown up, or at least in my adulthood, there's been that trans visibility. But it's hard to see other people doing what you wish you could do. So anyway, let me kind of pause here to go to the next segment. Okay guys, welcome back. Had a little bit of a camera problem. So, June the 11th of 2017 was actually the first time I ever confided in anyone about what I was feeling, which was my best friend, who was amazingly supportive. I had decided to start reaching out and looking at therapy as an option, and she had kind of hinted that she knew why and knew what was going on, and that frankly scared the hell out of me. But before I was going for that therapy session, which I think was on the next day, yeah, June 12th, she invited me to spend the night at her place, which was closer to where my therapy was, and that she would take me to my therapist appointment the next day. It was the most amazing show of support. We spent the entire evening kind of sitting around talking, having drinks on the front porch, and, dancing around the issue, because she was always really cautious to go based on my comfort level. So by that evening, it finally came out, and I couldn't even say the word transgender out loud. I would go in code on everything, and I pretty much made her do the same. And thankfully, she was wonderfully understanding. So the next day, she took me to my first therapy appointment, which was June the 12th. And that was really a big, huge start for me going down the right path to kind of finding who I am and the pathway to acceptance and accepting who I am. So I was really nervous at that first session, but everything went well. I talked to pardon me, I'm stuttering for a moment. I'm trying to think as I'm reading. At that session, I got some advice on transition, and then on how to medically transition, and even some good contacts to look at as far as, health care services that she recommended. So it was an amazing experience, that first session. Yipes. Shirt's riding up, sorry. Okay, back to the real video. So it was on June 16th that I actually placed a call to the doctor that my therapist had recommended that I go see. And I got the doctor's appointment for HRT on the 27th. I had my very, very first visit with the doctor to be evaluated for HRT, to have blood work, and I was petrified of needles. I'm still scared of them, but I deal. Trust me, you learn. When you're trans, every doctor's appointment seems to somehow end or begin with you getting poked. So you get used to it. But then I had to rush right back to work after that first appointment. And then I had my first visit home a little after that, in probably 2 to 3 years since I had been home. And my best friend went with me for support. We didn't discuss what I was going through. But after that, July the 27th became the first dose of my estrogen that I took, which was super exciting. I took a photo of the pill bottle that day. I guess I can probably break in and flash it here. Well, I don't know. Maybe I won't, because it has more info on it than I want to spend the time blacking out. Never mind the photo. But, I went through and I started on my HRT, and that was an amazing thing. I felt absolutely no changes that quickly. I did have leg cramps about a week and a half into my HRT, but I think I may have said that in one of my videos, one of my HRT updates. And if you want to see more about the updates of what's actually happened, then go and check out the HRT updates that I do every month. But anyway, I had that doctor's appointment on the 27th and took my first dose of my hormones. Let's see, what was the next big event here? I had my hormone levels, my estrogen levels raised again a couple times over. On the 12th of September was the first time I told someone at work, and I actually told my market manager, who unfortunately very shortly after was no longer with the company. But it was still an amazing, important moment for me to actually tell someone. So that was a pretty nerve-wracking day for me. So October 29th was when I first told my direct boss, my store manager, what was going on. And then a little bit after that, I believe it was, overlook me looking here, actually quite a bit after that, I ended up having a meeting with both my store manager and our human resources to decide how we were going to proceed. And, wow, I said that weird. But anyway, how we were going to move forward. And one of the things I agreed with the holidays being so busy is that I would wait until after Thanksgiving, which is a huge sale day and I work retail, to come out to my team as a whole. So shortly after, on November the 27th, which was actually my 4-month HRT anniversary, I came out at work. I let everyone know. I had meetings with the managers, with the management staff, to let them know what was going on. You know, I discussed things like, pronouns. I don't use the term preferred pronouns because they're not preferred. Preferred makes it sound like there's some sort of option. It's not a preferred pronoun. It's who I am. So we talked about pronoun usage and spelling of the name, because my name sounds the same. It's just spelled differently, or at least the way I pronounce it. So that was a pretty big moment. It was shortly after that I dealt with my first encounter with transphobia, really to the extreme, with someone who said some terrible things. I did a video about it. I'm not going to go into it again. And then I dealt with some things on a particular app, also a video on that. Feel free to look. Maybe I should provide a link to both of these. I'll do that. But, you know, there were a lot of other events during the year that that kind of, you know, that maybe I don't have a date for, but that made 2017 a pretty amazing year. You know, I just celebrated, and I do celebrate, my 20s, on the 27th, I celebrated my 5-month HRT anniversary. I did a video for that. Check it out. Shameless plug. But, you know, it was pretty amazing. My 5-month was also celebrating my 1 month of being out at work. You know, I'm now a little over that 1 month mark, and things get better every single day. There's still a lot to do, but it improves daily. You know, I do a little bit of correcting on gender pronouns. I try to do it in the best way I possibly can. But generally speaking, it's not a huge issue like it used to be. So it's slowly progressing forward. So anyway, that's a little bit of 2017 in review. Let me talk a little bit about what I've got going 2018. So the review of 2017 was pretty interesting for me, going through it and being able to put down some of these dates and look through, all the things that happened throughout the year. And the most exciting thing is seeing where I came from and knowing all the things I have to look to in 2018. Some of them are terrifying, but some of them are really exciting too. You know, 2018, hopefully, if things work out as I plan, will be the year of getting my ID documents changed over, getting the legal name change done, getting the birth certificate with the correct gender marker and my ID with the correct gender marker, having that very nerve-wracking conversation with my family that I haven't had yet, and looking ahead to even possible surgical options at the end of the year, near the end of the year, not the end, but near fall, having to do with top surgery. So, 2017 overall was fantastic. I look forward to 2018 being even better. But I also want to sort of include in this an understanding that while personally what I was doing in my life I'm really happy with, and 2017 was a fantastic year for me, it wasn't a fantastic year for the trans community as a whole. We ended up with more trans murders this past year than on record, than we've ever had on record. Shortly into, like 7 days, 6-7 days into this new year, and we've already had the first murder of a trans person. We have a long way to go between attempted bans on trans people in the military, to bathroom bills that serve no purpose but to victimize trans people. It's been a rough year for the trans community as a whole. And, seeing my personal experiences and the dichotomy of having this really good year personally and from a perspective of socially having a really bad year for our community, it stays on my mind. We can't forget the others that had a really bad year due to transphobia and sexism and all of these terrible things that happened over the past year. We can't forget the people who didn't get to make it to see 2018, who really should have. People not just over the last year, but people over many, many years that have been the victims of violence, or who have ended their own lives in, self-harm because they couldn't see a better future. And it's hard to see right now. But as a whole, we're going to make it through. This is a temporary setback, and we have to continue to push so that we can make the world a little bit better for that next generation of trans people. We can't save the lives we lost last year. We can't save the life we've already lost this year. But we can try to make a difference. We can try to limit the impact. We can try to be visible and let people know that we exist, that we just want to be like them. We want to have the same life. We have the same goals. We have the same dreams. And we want to be able to live that out. This is going to be a year, I certainly hope, where we can start to see minds change. We've already started to see that. So the year in review was, as I say, a mixed bag of nuts. It had a lot of good and a lot of bad. And I look forward to moving forward, and I look forward to the trans community as a whole being able to move forward into a more accepting, more compassionate, more loving environment. Okay, guys, that was the year in review that I wanted to do. Let me know what you think in the comment boxes. Take a moment, if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I try to do videos every week. Sometimes I'm not as regular on the videos as I would like, but I do strive towards that. I want to know what type of content you want to see. Let me know. Leave comments telling me what type of videos you'd like to see me do in the future. The HRT videos are incredibly popular. I will continue to do those for the foreseeable future. But I want to be able to do more. I want to get more people's attention. I want to talk about the things that matter not just to me, but also matter to you. So leave those comments, click subscribe. I'll end with my phrase that I always do, which is a quote from Kesha that says, "Don't let the bastards get you down." Someone is always going to hate you, going to discriminate, going to despise you for being yourself. So you're better off to be yourself, and to hell with the haters. Be safe. Always keep in mind that as a trans person, as a trans woman, as a trans man, as a woman in general, safety has to be something that you're mindful of. So keep that in mind, but live out your truth. Be yourself. Life is way too short to fake your way through. So anyway, that's the video for today. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I guess that's it. So bye-bye, and lots of love, guys. Hopefully I'll see you again at the next video.